so to speak. Okay, so, right, we're going to have a regional person. And what's your proposal then for the quote-unquote cash match and what we'd have to raise and what others would have to raise?
I don't know if I can, you know, in the grand scheme, that if you got 10%, you're in the game. If you got 25%, you just doubled your chances. Okay. Well, do I realistically think that you can come up with $25,000? I don't think so. I think that's a pretty high expectation. But if you can come up with $10,000 or $15,000 of a commitment, yeah,
we come up with 25.
You're taking donations, right?
I have 20 in my pocket.
So the efforts that we've been working on to kind of identify some steps to raise money with our group, with our community, could go towards that commitment of a match. And those steps that the group has taken to kind of think about what type of position, what type of search we want to do, that effort can be used as well to kind of help with what we want to do. So it seems like we have made some progress by moving forward. And I got to admit, I think we'd be better off to go with a regional effort because I think we need all the help we can get, and the organization would provide sort of that regional look. And we have lots of expertise here, but we don't always have sort of that bigger picture that these businesses, you know, they're aware of their track record, but we're kind of being focused on our little piece. And I really think there's some advantage to working with people to do this.
Thank you. And thinking in that line too, that if I was applying for a job, the pressures that I'd be under if I was to work just for one community that was in a condition like you, would scare the hell out of me. It really would, because I'd have to, you'd be on me like Victoria said, or no, excuse me, this woman here, that you produce these things and you bring us 10 jobs in the next 6 weeks or you're going to be out the door. And that's the reality of it, that if this person can, I mean, you know, have that regional approach, but I definitely don't want you to think that I don't recognize that Baraga and Ontonagon counties are where this person needs to concentrate its efforts. I'm 100% behind them. So calling them regional and working them regional is a good idea, and I think that we can fulfill that role. And again, I'm just hoping that my talk to you tonight is that I can make it happen if you decide to go along, because I have no guarantees in grants. That's all there is to it. They can work or they can't. And if you guys don't back it 100% with what I'm telling you, that you need that support from your local units, and you need to call Baldini's office. And Baldini is one of your biggest advocates too, I guarantee you. He's the one that started all this, and I want to thank Tom, because he's been in the game for a long time and does us a lot of good. Did you have something, Victoria?
No, I'm just thinking, what would it take from us tonight? How do we make a vote and say, yeah, I think we want to go with this idea? Because I really think right now it is the best way to go. We can always branch out later. We can see it. But even for a person to get on, like within the next 3 months, for God's sakes, they're going to have a learning curve that's just going to be absolutely incredible. They're going to have to learn, if they're not from around here, they're going to have to learn all the places around here. They got to learn all the sticking points. They got to learn who the people are, where the businesses are located, where the problems are, what the laws are, all that stuff. So I don't know, Frank, what do you say? How do we go about doing that? Because I'd like to make, I guess, a vote suggestion that we go along with Kim's regional idea.
I want to just answer that because I want to leave. Honestly, I want to ask you if you have any more questions before I go. But to leave you to your discussion without me to influence it or to have to listen to something that you might not want me to hear. So, Victoria, I think that a discussion or something tonight, and then Frank getting back to me tomorrow saying, yes, we want to move ahead, and your efforts to continue, because if I'm not successful, you need to parallel what I'm doing so that I haven't disrupted what you're doing, and we both have a chance of succeeding, because I think we're on the same page and we're trying to reach the same goal. So does that sound?
I have to say this, I don't generally trust politicians too much, but I really do trust Tom Baldini, because I worked very closely with him for the White Pine thing. I mean, the ESOP and the rest at White Pine. And he really worked hard and spent a lot of hours in getting that thing and putting that thing together. And it did work.
And that's why I wanted to give him the credit too, because Tom was the one that got on the phone right away to.
Well, I mean, this was you know, putting White Pine back to work, actually. He did a great deal of that. He influenced a lot of that, and he twisted the governor's arm. He really did. And I do trust him. That's the only thing I ask.
Notice she didn't say me.
What?